Hello, I'm going to take a few minutes to show you a very useful feature that's available in Office 365 within Microsoft Word. It's called Immersive Reader, and it can help you in many different ways um, in your studies. So please don't ignore this video. Watch it all the way to the end. There's bound to be something that you can use while you're a student. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to log into Office 365, and I've chosen to log into Office 365 through My Learning. There's a link on the front of the college website. You'll see My Learning at the top of the screen. So I'm going to click this login using Office 365, and I've entered my reference number, the A000, whatever number you've got, and also my password. So I click sign in, and I'm presented with this window. Now I'm looking to get into Office 365 Microsoft Word, but what I've been presented with here at the right hand side is features of Office 365 but not Microsoft Word. So I'm going to use my email to get into Microsoft Word. So I'm going to click my email, and I'm then into my email, and what I'd like you to do, you can see in the first red rectangle there's 9 dots. Now I've put that rectangle in myself just to draw your attention to it. I want you to click it, and the window menu drops down there, and you'll see Microsoft Word as one of the options. So I want you to click that, and then you will be in the online version of Microsoft Word within Office 365. So you should see something very similar to this. Now, you can click create a blank document if you like, or open up a document you've already got if you want to work alongside as I'm going through this video. The text that we use isn't important. We're just going to explore what Immersive Reader can do with that text. So, at the moment, I'm going to use this document. And again, the text isn't important, but I've just copied some text from the front of the college website. It's actually the COVID-19 campus update that I've pasted in. Now, one of the first things that you might realise is that writing is really small and you can't see it. So a really useful thing for you to be able to zoom in and out of a page is to look down the bottom right hand side, and you'll see a percentage and a plus sign. So I've got a little rectangle over it here, and I'd like you to click the plus sign until the text increases to something that works for you. So I've now got the text at a reasonable size, and you can see I've added another little rectangle here, and it's over the word view. And what I'd like you to do is click that word view, because that's the view toolbar, and what you will see is some extra words appearing, and one of them is Immersive Reader, and that is our way into this feature uh, called Immersive Reader. So let's click it, and the screen immediately changes. Now you know you've done the right thing, because you can see up the top above the words I'm using this document, it says Immersive Reader, and there's a little arrow pointing back. Don't click the arrow just now, that actually just takes you out. But if you can see this screen, you've done the right thing. Now notice the play icon at the bottom of the screen. That's just like a play on CD player or your iPhone or your phone or anything. So what's going to happen here is Immersive Reader is going to read back the text that we've got on the screen. So what I'd like to do is click beside any text that you want it to read out. I've clicked right at the top. You'll see Ein is where I've clicked my cursor, and I'm going to click the play icon. Now you won't hear it in this video, but if you're at home or wherever you are, plug in your headphones, because it's going to play back and it might be annoying to whoever's in the room with you. So headphones are definitely recommended. Now you realise that if there's not even any sound, you'll realise that it is reading it back, because the screen goes grey, and then this word, the words start to go white as the voice is reading it out. So plug in your headphones and you'll be able to hear it all happening. And you can see that there's a pause button at the bottom as well that I've put a red rectangle around. So that's a really useful feature. Perhaps you've got an essay coming up and you haven't shown it to anybody else, and you're just wondering, does that make sense what I've written? Use Immersive Reader and play it back to yourself. You'll know immediately if it sounds correct, and you'll be able to hear mistakes perhaps where you've repeated a word or the grammar's not quite correct or a sentence is too long, you'll be able to hear it as it reads it back. So this is a really useful feature. And it's really useful for any level of course. Okay, Immersive Reader can actually help you in many, many ways. We're going to click this icon on the right hand side. You can see that I've put a little kind of rectangle square round it. It's the two A's. That's going to allow us to change different aspects of how the font appears. So I'm going to change the text size here and I'm going to drag that little icon that I've put a red rectangle round, and you'll see that the text on the screen is now bigger. You'll also see that what I can do is change the background colour. So if you've used overlays in the past, this is a really simple way to get that same effect on a computer. So you can choose any colour you like, and although there's, I think, 6 colours here, there are actually a host of other colours available. If you click the more colours option, you can select something else, and I think I'm going to select yellow. And you can see the yellow one's got a little tick inside that red rectangle. Now, let's go to one of the other icons up the top. Here's an interesting feature that you might find useful. You can actually highlight words that are nouns or verbs or adjectives or adverbs. And that can help you structure sentences, but also when you're reading information, it helps you pull out the important words, the descriptive words. So you can see here that I've selected to highlight nouns, and it's brought out all the nouns in that passage that I had on the screen. One of the other things that you will find really useful, especially if you're in a subject where you're learning new terminology and new words or jargon, and you're not quite sure how to pronounce them, you can break it down by syllables. So watch when I toggle the syllables section here to on, it breaks down each word. So you can see example is broken into the 3 syllables. That's a really useful feature that you should be aware of and that you might want to use, particularly if you reach or a subject or you're learning a subject where there's a lot of new words coming at you. This will really help you use those words precisely when you have to say them. You can turn all the features off that we've used so far. You just toggle back to an off position. Now let's look at this other icon here at the right hand side. It looks like a book. I really like this icon because it does something that I find really useful to help me focus when I'm reading. It can narrow your focus down by hiding part of the text. So the first option you'll see in a little red square is to only show one line at a time. But of course, there's other options, and one of the options is maybe a few lines at a time. And there's even more lines available if you would prefer to look at it this way. Try using this. I think it's really going to help you if you've got a lot of information to take in because it focuses your eyes on particular lines in a page. Here's a feature that you might want to use. It's turning on the picture dictionary, and I've highlighted where you can do this on the screen. So what this is allowing you to do is select a word and then it will show you an image related to that word. Again, that's really useful if you encounter some jargon or new terminology. So in this screen, what I've done is highlighted text while the picture dictionary was on, and it's given me an icon or a little image to help me make sense of that word. Here's another example where I've selected the word website and it's brought up the picture of the monitor and the World Wide Web. English might not be your first language, and you may want to translate some words that you're encountering in English back into your own language or your first language. What you can do at the right hand side is select the language that you would like to translate English from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick, I think I've picked Kurdish in this example, I'm going to select a word. You can see I've selected timetable, and underneath it gives me the translation in Kurdish. You can actually do it for more than one word. You can do it for the whole document. Now I've actually still got the line focus on here, and I've got translation on. So that might be something, if English isn't your first language, this can help you access uh, your learning and jargon and new terminology in your first language before you convert it back to English. And that's easy enough to do. You can either put the translation back to English, or you can actually click that arrow. Remember I mentioned it at the very beginning of the video? If you click that arrow at the left hand side, you come out of Immersive Reader and you return to your document. So you've now exited Immersive Reader and you're back in your document, and hopefully what I've shown you is useful during your studies. Take the time to open up Word, Office 365 and play about with Immersive Reader. I hope it's useful to you. There's many features that I think will appeal to you during your studies and will appeal to students at all levels. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.